William Marshal, the greatest knight who ever lived. Many times when we talk about knights, they're talked about as characters in stories. Think of Sir Lancelot, King Arthur, or Ivanhoe. But what about the knights that really lived during the Middle Ages? Did such knights exist, and do they live up to how we think about a knight as a great warrior who is also a man of honor and loyalty? There are many examples of knights from the medieval period that we could discuss, but William Marshal may be the best knight and provides a good introduction not only to what medieval knighthood was, but what medieval society was like and the overall history of the period. A couple things to know about William Marshal. First, he was an Englishman who lived during the late 1100s and into the early 1200s. Second, he became renowned as a champion at tournament games. Thirdly, he was known not only as a great warrior and champion, but also political leader, serving as an advisor to 5 English kings. While focusing on the details of the greater narrative of the Middle Ages, William Marshal is one of many historical figures that we'll take a look at, specifically in Introduction to the Middle Ages. The second son of John Marshal, William Marshal was born during a time in England called the Anarchy, in which a civil war was being fought between King Stephen and his cousin Matilda. At around age 12, William began training and education to be a knight. A knight was no easy task. It was not just a job, but a way of life of a nobleman. His first battle was a small skirmish when he was around 20 years old. Also around this time, William became involved in tournaments and began winning respect with other nobles. At this time, William found work as a knight under King Henry II. Later, when Henry II's son, Henry the Young King, was crowned, even though his father was still alive, William was given the position to advise Henry. Since he was a king with no power or real land ownership, Henry the Young King, seen here, rebelled against his father, Henry II. At this time, William Marshal was on the side of the young king. But Henry failed, and Henry II, his father, succeeded in the battle. Marshal was forgiven for his role in helping the young king and carried on as a tournament champion once again. During the tournaments in which knights would attack each other with blunt weapons and capture each other until one side ran out of men, William is said to have captured over 500 knights during his circuit. It was around this time that he earned a coat of arms, shown here. Later, William traveled to the Holy Land instead of young Henry, fulfilling a Christian duty to go on pilgrimage and crusade. And after this, William served in the retinue of Henry II, even being a part of negotiations between Henry and his rebellious son, Richard. When Henry died, Marshal began to serve Richard I and was given the title Earl of Pembroke, a high-ranking position for the time. When King John became king, Marshal had troubles with his relationship, but tried to stay loyal and played a big role during the negotiations between the barons and the crown over Magna Carta. After King John's death, however, in 1216, he left only a young son, Henry III. Because of his storied career, Marshal became regent of the realm, acting almost as de facto ruler until Henry III became of age. Before his death in his 70s, William Marshal had set his own affairs in order, providing estates for his wife and his 4 sons and daughter. Stephen Langton, the Archbishop of Canterbury, in the wake of his death, described Marshal as the greatest knight to be found in all the world. So, is William the greatest knight who ever lived? It certainly seems so. The life of William is one of many anecdotes we'll look at under the greater narrative of this period in the Introduction to the Middle Ages.